Hello, everybody. We are the Geeks and the Giants. I am Enzo. This is my forever co-host John, and today we talk about the first Uncharted. Uncharted 1 from '07, and like it's really one of the games that changed the entire landscape of gaming forever. Starting with this one, this humble little game from the creators of Crash Bandicoot. But
Yes, sir.
yeah, first question is: did you play Crash Bandicoot as a kid?
Yes,
And
I did. I did.
And what were your first impressions on this one?
Uh, to give you a bit of a backstory, I didn't play the first one, like, as the first. I got the second game, and then I played the first.
Damn.
Yeah,
Damn,
like,
dude.
because like it was like when I got my PS3, it came with two games. It was Modern Warfare 2, and then the other one was Uncharted 2.
Okay.
So I was like, hey, cool, I'm playing the sequels that were absolute bangers. So I'm like, alright.
Alright.
And playing the second one first, I had high expectations for the first one. I could tell that there was a little bit of like like things that were polished in the second one compared to the first one.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it wasn't the same, but at the same time, I kind of see where it's coming from.
Yeah.
But playing the first one, it still felt like, oh, okay, at least I'm knowing how the journey started, or like, you know, how I'm supposed to be introduced to these characters.
Yeah. Yeah, this is also a gift from when I got the PS3. Because it came in like a bundle of 1 and 2. And they were like explaining it to me because I've never heard of Uncharted until then. And they're like, it's like Indiana Jones and National Treasure. Here, play it. And I'm like, do you just want me to play it? Because your explanation is kind of whack. But sure, I'll play it. And like, it took like a few weeks, and I'm like, fine, I'll play it. Because I was too busy with like Brotherhood and like another game. And I'm like, fine, I'll play this Indiana National Treasure game. And then I was just hooked for hours, and I'm like, what the fuck? How come I've never heard of this before? Like, there's no doubt, like, there are games that are like platformers and like shooters before, but like Uncharted 1 does it so well. Like, Naughty Dog has designed this game so well that you're like, fuck, this is so fun to play. Like, we've seen quick time events before Uncharted, but Naughty Dog makes it so satisfying, and you're like, I can't get mad at you, can't get frustrated. I enjoy it too much. It's partially because of the writing too, with like Drake, Sully, Elena. Thanks to Amy Hennig, like she carried this entire thing until 4, and then like it has left a lasting legacy. And Drake is still one of the best gaming characters in memory.
Yeah,
yeah,
and like that's where I got introduced to like the voice actor for Nathan Drake. Fuck, what's his name again?
Nolan North.
Nolan North, yeah. Like I didn't notice that this guy was in so much of my childhood.
Yeah.
Until I played Uncharted, because I was like, this guy's voice is a staple in my head.
Yeah.
When it comes to voice actors, and like, God, I would love to meet him one day.
Same.
And yeah, so like going through this game.
Yeah.
After playing the second one, I played this one, and yeah, we're introduced to like some like them like fishing out some treasure off of a boat, and I think this is where you and me kind of got our archaeological like
fix
thing from. Like we were coming off of like AC Brotherhood. We're playing like and then we're watching like History Channel, and we're getting more of that shit, and then now we have like a game where they're like, hey, we're the ones that collect these artifacts from years ago. And that's where we get our archaeological fix, where we're like, oh, there's action, but yet there's knowledge. You know, and like learning about Shambhala, or learning about like well, this one we're talking about like the City of Gold. And I'm like, that's really fucking cool.
And like, you also find out that Nathan Drake is a descendant of Francis Drake, and you're like, this is obviously fiction, but like, what an interesting thing to say. I wonder how this plays out. And like, Drake has the necklace that says greatness from small beginnings, and like knowing where Drake ends up, like later on, you're like, that's such a great quote for Drake. And like again, it's just because Nathan Drake is such a captivating character. Like he's funny, he's witty, he's charming. And like just the one-liners he does, like when he's trying to ditch the plane, and he's like, "Oh fuck, Jesus Christ, I don't know, I don't think I can do this." And he's like, "All right, 1, 2, 3." He just jumps like, "Oh fuck." It's like 1, 2, 3, crap. And like again, Nolan North just sells this character so well.
Yeah. And like I think Uncharted's like the first game that we're ever introduced to where you're in combat, but the character's still talking.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, what? Because like a lot of times they talk after the combat or talk before the combat. They're mostly quiet majority of the time, but here you hear Nathan Drake like when a grenade goes off right next to him, is like you hear him grunt or like say fuck. You know? And I'm just like, oh, I love this because it's giving you're kind of more immersed now because your character's reacting to shit. The way that you would if you were in that situation. I love the gunplay is that sometimes he's shooting like this. Instead of like the on the rails, like just like like that.
I read something.
Oh,
sorry. I read something that like when Drake's thing is like going red, that's not the damage. That's just his luck running out. I'm like,
I love that concept. I really do. Like the fact that they told us that is that. It makes the game a little bit more immersive. Because, like a lot of times we get hit and we're like, oh shit. There's a bullet in me. When a regular person would never take that much bullet wounds. It makes sense. And I love that.
It's not like a Call of Duty character where you're just taking AK-47s to the chest and you're like, as long as it doesn't get too red, I'm fine, right?
Right. Like you get shot 5 times. You're like at the brink of death, and then you shoot the guy. And you're like, all right, let me breathe for a bit.
Right.
You know.
Here, just like I am a literal regular person who's a bit curious. I don't know what I'm doing. Please let me live. But like I think I got hooked right away when you get to that U-boat in the middle of the jungle, and I'm like, what the fuck? Jesus Christ, where's the story going? And like it just better and better. You're like, I'm into this. I'm really into this.
And like, wait, what's the name again of the City of Gold?
El Dorado.
There we go. I love it that we're kind of exposed to this after watching, Road to El Dorado. Like, and then we get to know more story about it. And I was like, oh fuck, let's go. Exploring the German U-boat, you see artifacts, you see this dilapidated like World War II thing. Like at the edge of a waterfall, and like this is kind of cool. And then you're getting James Bond-esque villains coming up out of nowhere. I'm like, what am I playing?
Right?
Like this is so fucking cool, and it does feel like a Indiana Jones story because now it's not just I'm looking for this one thing. I'm on a race now because we're both trying to look for it.
You mentioned like the shooting when Drake's like literally flaying about. I also love this game because when you're climbing, like there are moments where Drake's like, "Oh fuck, let me get back to normal."
I love that when the game devs do that when they're like, "Oh, let's put a loose rock here," and then like he just loses footing and like you're like shit. Like at some points even I'm like,
like the way they designed this jungle so well. Like I feel like I'm in the jungle because I'm like starting to sweat in my palms climbing. I'm like, this game is too immersive. I love it though. And like I know we did Uncharted before, like years ago, all 3 or all 4. But like getting to revisit this game for this one video is quite nostalgic because there are things that are familiar if you've seen enough movies and shows, but at the same time, the first Uncharted just has this charm to it, like this little engine that could, and like it doesn't. You see that it can. And it grows into something much better. Like, I don't think Naughty Dog's ever had a fault as a game company. Like, maybe in writing with, like, The Last of Us 2. But, like, aside from that, there's no microtransaction bullshit. There's no always online bullshit. Like,
agree.
I will always be like, no matter if I agree with your writing or not, the fact that you have never been like, let's just join this bandwagon, speaks praises. Like, because like I don't know if you know that they were trying to make like a live service on Last of Us 2, or like Last of Us shooter, and they were like, we rather just make another great standalone game. And I'm like,
Yeah.
huh, fuck, that's commendable.
Yeah, because they're not like they're more just passionate rather than driven by greed. So I'm like very happy with that, and that's what I also like maybe with like CD Projekt Red
Hmm.
that they're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of microtransactions here and there.
Yeah. Even
Like
with Cyberpunk, they could have easily been like, we're not patching this anymore, or pay us for better stuff. Like the fact they kept at it, and you're like, don't do that again. But Jesus, you have good game design.
yeah, and like it's not just that. It's just like they could have a lot of times just straight up made you like, hey, pay $20 for this jacket. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you know. So, like Naughty Dog and CD Projekt Red are kind of like the like few unsung heroes when it comes to like the gaming world, where they just stuck to more focusing on like for the players rather than for the money or corporate.
Yeah. Also with like I forgot the dev studio, but the ones who make God of War, like again, it could be so easy for them to be like, let's just make a looter shooter with like Kratos punching like any
Insomniac?
god. Insomniac definitely. Like I haven't heard any controversies. Could be wrong, but like the Spider-Man games. What else did they make? Oh, also the Sucker Punch, who made Ghost of Tsushima and Infamous. Again,
Yeah.
one of the few studios where like I can trust you to choose the players over money or join the bandwagon of live shooters. Then again, like going back to Naughty Dog, like again, there are things like The Last of Us 2, but you're like, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that bad. It's like, it's just poor story writing. It's not like, I want money, so pay me $50 for Batman to be blue, and you're like, why? I don't wanna.
Yeah. Yeah, but going back to the story here, I love how they took El Dorado here.
Yeah,
Where,
same.
like as the entire time we were going through it, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of excited to see a city of gold.
Yeah.
Like I know it's not gonna be made out of gold, but like just a city of gold. And then when you find out that like El Dorado is actually just a statue,
Yeah.
and you're like, what?
Yeah, a statue that turns you into like mutants, and like
Yeah.
that was terrifying. The first time I played this, I'm like, I thought this was Indiana Jones and National Treasure. You never told me this was The Descent. What the fuck?
Yeah. Like there's some zombie-esque fuckers here. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And okay, and I love it that the game doesn't do it right off the bat.
Yeah.
You know, like they show us the like supernatural thing with the artifact,
Yeah.
like later on in the game, or maybe the last section of the game, where you're like seeing the power of the artifact that you have.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's great because it doesn't pull out of the story. A lot of the times you're fighting mercenaries
Yeah.
other than the zombie things. But once you do start fighting the zombie things, it's such a good change of pace where you're like, there's more of a sense of urgency that you're like, oh, another factor came in at the last part of the fucking game.
Yeah.
I have to like adapt now,
Right?
which makes a really good ending. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's really sick.
Yeah, and like Uncharted has done this since the first one, where they introduce a supernatural element of some kind. Like it's only in the fourth one when they're like, this is about the brothers, not something supernatural. But like, one was the zombies, two was the big like hulking people that guard
Like
Shambhala.
Yeti,
Yeah.
yeah, the Yetis.
And like here, it doesn't help that the zombies here are like a one shot, like they get to you, and if they deck you, you're gone. And you're like, that makes sense, but at the same time, I fucking hate you. But yeah. Also, I forgot to mention that Elena is a great, like, secondary character because she's a great companion. It's not like the Resident Evil games where like I have to protect this person, and she's kind of annoying. Please make it stop. Elena can stand on her own. But speaking of annoying, there is one section I remember that I hated, and that's this fucking jet ski mission.
Yeah.
you went
Because I was just like, I remember I got stuck on that, and then like when like I finished the game, because usually I go back at it a second time, but on a harder difficulty.
Yeah.
After that jet ski section, I was like, I ain't going through that shit again.
Right?
Like, no, thank you. Like, it really like was reminiscent of like that jet ski section, in like Resident Evil 4.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is so fucking annoying.
Yeah. You start at one point and then you like stop and then fight mercenaries and then you go a second stretch that's longer and then you stop and fight mercenaries and then you get to the last, but at any point if you die you go back to the
You
beginning.
go back to the fucking start. I was like, ah.
Yeah, like Uncharted really likes making these impossible like bosses. Like one is the jet ski, two is that annoying helicopter, and you're just like, why
Yeah.
would you fucking die? You're a fucking helicopter. This doesn't make sense. But yeah, like the jet ski's annoying, but the helicopter is like that makes sense. You're an Apache, at least that somewhat makes sense. But like
Yeah.
the jet ski is like the only. It's not even a fault. It's just like I was '07. Games didn't have such forgiving checkpoints back then, you know. But yeah, that's like the only thing I will never replay. If I had to start this game all over again, I'd be like, fuck. And I see the jet ski, I'd be like, I hate this. I hate this stupid thing.
Yeah, I'll prep myself a little bit. I'm just like, I at it again.
Yeah, like it's like the GTA meme of like, shit, here we go again.
By the way, so, like speaking of like hard difficulties and stuff like that, and playing the video game,
Yeah.
there is a YouTube channel that Nolan North is in.
Yeah. With Troy Baker.
Yeah, with Troy Baker, and they played the Uncharted games together to completion. And I'm not gonna lie, Nolan North plays the game.
Yeah.
He's not the best at video games, but at the same time, the charm's there because that's the voice actor of the guy.
Yeah.
So it's one hell of a watch.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, if you have the time, like watch Nolan North and Troy Baker just go through like these video games. I think they did some horror games here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is odd that Nolan North just straight up has a gaming channel.
You're right. I love the fact that he also like loses it like with the jet ski. He's like, I think he is like really tired, and you're like, yeah, felt like that too, dude.
I'm not the only one. Nolan, let's be friends.
Alright. But yeah, is there anything you would like to add to this video before we wrap it up?
Nah.
Alright. What would you rate the first Uncharted?
If I wish I didn't play the second one before this.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there would have been a lot of wonder and a lot of like awe moments.
Yeah.
But I feel like it got spoiled because I got something a little bit better.
Yeah.
In the same storyline. So yeah, I don't have that like sense of wonder of like, oh wow, but I see it. I really do. The gameplay was so good, and like again, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of somebody playing it back in 2007, never touched the second one, and just like experiencing these new elements into gaming where, yeah, like, the character would like crack some jokes in the middle of a fight, or the melee was so fucking good where you felt like an action movie. Like, and where main characters and secondary characters, even the villain, are so like can speak volume, you know.
Yeah.
Like they have a lot of character to them instead of like, oh, this is about the main character. No.
Yeah.
Everybody will have their spotlight, whether it be Sully, Better, or what's her name,
Elena.
Elena, or the villain.
Yeah.
Like, or even Drake. Like that is what like kind of set my standards for dialogue when it comes to like video games, because I think around the time Prototype also came out and there was a lot of like cursing.
Yeah.
Like it was trying to be adult, but it feels like it was written by a 14-year-old. Yeah,
That's a wild game. I remember that.
yeah, like I was like, yo, calm down with the cursing, Jesus Christ. You know, like we curse a lot, but at this point I'm like, yo, I'm tired of hearing it.
Yeah.
But here it was done naturally. It was fun. Dialogue was nice. It's smooth,
Yeah.
and transitions very well. And gameplay, as I said, amazing with the parkour and everything, and the whole artifact things. Again, kind of set us as like history buffs
Yeah.
because of Assassin's Creed and Uncharted. But yeah, I'm gonna give this one a solid 8 out of 10.
Hmm.
You know, like that's still a good score, or maybe an 8.5.
Okay.
Like it's up there, because it is such a good game. But is it too? I'm sorry. Too like one walk so two could run.
Right.
Two is a completely different league when it comes to like the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll also give this. I'll give this an 8. It's a pretty good game. It's a great start, and it's a great introduction to like Drake, especially Nathan Drake, Sully, and Elena, and like knowing the fact that the characters, even the villains, just go up from here. Like the only stumble of this franchise is 3, and then
Yeah.
after 3, you're just like, it's all uphill. Oh fuck, it's usually downhill. But now you're like, I didn't know you could reach those heights. Like 4 is like almost there with 2, like literally close for me.
Yeah.
But like getting back to this one, like Uncharted 1 is such a classic, and like again, it might do things that other games did before, but like it's so clean and polished, and like just so charming. Like everything about it, you're just like, again, going back to '07, you're like, it's one of the, oh, it's the little engine that could, and like seeing what it becomes now, you're like, all right. And like I think that's one of the reasons why we were so excited, because we were like, yeah, this can be a movie with like an older Drake, and like you see the the movie version, and you're like, never thought it would be Tom Holland or Mark Wahlberg.
I was thinking Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, same.
Come on.
Like, if you to the audience watching, one of the takeaways I would like to give you is that like if you ever want to see an Uncharted film, you just have to look at Nathan Fillion's short from years ago,
Yeah.
and that's the only Uncharted movie you'll ever have to see.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, like the person who played Sully was a guy from Avatar.
Yeah, yeah. Don't breathe as well. I'm like, unusual casting, but yeah, I buy it. Why not?
Hey, why not?
Yeah. But yeah, that's been our video for the first Uncharted from '07. What do you guys think? What's your favorite entry into this franchise, to the audience watching? Mine is definitely 2. Mine is definitely 2.
2.
Oh damn.
2 still takes the cake. Like I know 4 is great, but 2 is like just has a special place in my heart.
Yeah. And like, if anyone's out there who is like part of a video game company or is like helping like development, like I hope you just remember that it's like to prioritize like the story and the players first, rather than be like, let's join this fucking live service bandwagon, because it just ruins things, you know? Like
Agreed.
we've seen it, what happens with like studios who follow suit, like with Ubisoft and like Rocksteady, and you're just like, I fucking told you. Like I think the best example of that failing is like the Avengers game, and you're like, ah, that's easy money, and then you see the
Yeah.
game and you're like, the fuck happened to you? You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just, maybe one day we'll invite Edwin to talk about the modern state of modern gaming someday, and that'll be a fun conversation. But for now, we're doing Uncharted, and like in the future we'll do the sequels to all of these games that we started this week. But yeah, if you like more of us, please subscribe to us and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. Sorry. We're all on Spotify and TikTok to see our best and funniest moments and our reactions to trailers, and Spotify to hear us on the go. Individually, I'm Zoda's voices on TikTok and Enswolf on Letterboxd. Where can I find you?
You can find me at JohnJM_ on Instagram. It is Maratcom.
And until the next one, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.